Good morning. It is the 24th of October 2024 and you're right on time for K24's New Dawn. My name is Joel Chacha. Even as today we focus on the state of the nation. There is an ongoing legal showdown at the High Court. That is before the three-judge bench that was constituted or that was empaneled by, of course, the Chief Justice and the Deputy Chief Justice, a ruling on whether the DCJ, that is Philomena Mwilu, can empanel a bench was made yesterday. And according to the three-judge bench, indeed, the Deputy Chief Justice can still take up the role of the Chief Justice to empanel a bench in the event she's not present. This even as the hearing for the recusal of the judges will be taking place today from 2:30 p.m. But there is already a petitioner, Obuli Namenya, through a lawyer, that is Ndegwa Njiru, who has petitioned the court to actually recuse or seeking a recusal of the three-judge bench currently handling the Gachagua impeachment matter. That is, in one of the instances, they said that the petitioners have credible information that Justice Anthony Mrima is a close associate to the proposed deputy president, that is Kithure Kindiki, and that they say judge failed and refused or neglected to disclose those facts to the parties at the inception of the trial. That they said judge, that is Anthony Mrima, is thus conflicted and guilty of material non-disclosure of crucial information that would have enabled the parties to determine and declare that they would be comfortable appearing and proceeding before this bench. Now, that is for Justice, of course, Mrima. And at one point also, they say that this close association between Justice Mrima and the proposed nominee, that is Kithure Kindiki, for the position of the Deputy President, have caused the court to convene and sit on a Saturday with a view of assisting one party in the proceedings. Now, that is for Justice Anthony Mrima. There is also Eric Ogolla. Now, the petitioners are in possession of credible information. They say that while Justice Eric Ogolla, who is the presiding judge in the proceedings, is conflicted as his spouse is a member of the Kenya Water Towers Board, having been appointed by the President of the Republic of Kenya, who is in a haste nominated Kithure Kindiki as his principal assistant. And so Justice Ogolla also is accused of failing to or refusing or neglecting to disclose this material fact to the parties at the inception of the trial. Those are the two judges that the petitioner is seeking. They recuse themselves from the ongoing impeachment case by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. These even as the respondents, that includes the National Assembly and the Senate, is accusing the petitioners of playing delayed tactics in order to maybe buy more time for Rigathi Gachagua to remain in office as the Deputy President. But still on matters Rigathi Gachagua, a lawyer has now sued the state, that is the government, over sending DP staff on forced leave. 108 of them have been forced to proceed on a compulsory leave. That is at the office of the Deputy President, even as it's believed there is a push and pull on who occupies the Harambee Annex. That is the Deputy President Rigathi, or the Deputy President's office. That is a conversation that I'll be having this morning. And also on the controversial 7-year term limit. Remember, the Nandi Senator, that is Samson Cherargei, introduced a bill that you have up to tomorrow as a Kenyan to participate. That is it actually seeks to increase from 5 years to 7 years the presidential term, the term of a governor, senator, county MP, MCAs, MPs, from 5 years to 7 years. However, one of the senators says that is actually a lot of time for 5 years. It should come down to around 3 or 4 years, as mature democracies have been handling that. In studio, I'll be joined by a very key guest, that is Honorable Karungo Dhangwa. He's the Kiambu senator. He's the one actually proposing that instead of increasing the term limit from 5 years to 7 years, that should climb down to 3 years or 4 years if need be, subjected to a referendum. He'll be right here in studio, and he's also a close ally of Rigathi Gachagua, the impeached deputy president. Honorable James Gakuya, chair of the Trade Committee of the National Assembly and also member of Parliament Embakasi North, will be right here in studio, and he's also a close ally of the impeached deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. Honorable Dr. Daniel Manduku, Nyaribari Masaba, member of Parliament, also will be joining us here in studio in the first segment. Considering we'll be having the court session from around 9:30 a.m., I'll be joined by another set of guests from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. That is Sheila Olang. She is an economist and political analyst, Vivian Tao, communications and public affairs expert, and as well Omulo Jr., a political analyst. But I also invite you in this conversation via social media platforms at K24 TV, at Joel Chacha, as well on SMS and WhatsApp numbers on the bottom of the screens. I'll be glad to sample some of them before wrapping up New Dawn this morning. We begin with these stories. The High Court has ruled that the formation of a 3-judge bench by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu to hear a case involving Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment did not violate the law. While reading the ruling, Judge Anthony Mrima stated that the Deputy Chief Justice is authorized to make such decision and perform legal duties on behalf of the Chief Justice, as Majibu Kisao reports.
The question on whether the Deputy Chief Justice has the authority to form a panel of judges to hear a case in the High Court has sparked debate, with legal experts battling it out in court regarding the legitimacy of her move. The development comes after Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu appointed a 3-judge panel consisting of Anthony Mrima, Eric Ogola and Freda Mugambi to hear a case blocking the swearing-in of Interior CS Kithure Kindiki as the next deputy president following Gachagua's impeachment.
In dealing with the above issue, courts have taken two diametrically opposite positions. One of them being that the assignment of judges is a constitutional duty which can only be undertaken by the Honorable Chief Justice. As such, the Honorable DCJ cannot assign judges under Article 165, Sub-Article 4 of the Constitution. The other position posits that although the duty to assign judges is provided for in the Constitution, its implementation is administrative, and that duty can be undertaken by the Honorable DCJ.
While delivering the ruling, Judge Mrima said that the Deputy Chief Justice can act on behalf of the Chief Justice. Mrima added that the constitutional powers of the Chief Justice to appoint a panel, being an administrative function, can be carried out by the Deputy Chief Justice if the Chief Justice has a valid reason to delegate the responsibility.
Found and held that the constitutional function of the Honorable Chief Justice to assign the benches under Article 165 of the Constitution, being an administrative function, can be performed by the DCJ when the DCJ is for good reason unable to perform this function.
Gachagua's lawyers wanted to know when exactly the case file was transferred from Kerugoya at 4 p.m. on Saturday for the Deputy Chief Justice to appoint the 3 judges to hear the matter on the same day. The case was in a Kerugoya court where an order had been issued preventing Interior CS Kithure Kindiki from taking over as Deputy President.
It's most unforeseen. We are all counsel of some reasonable experience. We all appreciate, some of them here are very senior advocates, very senior counsel. the file before the court is the only file in which you can make an application.
As the push and pull continues, Gachagwa's lawyer Paul Muite has vowed to persuade his client Rigathi Gachagua to appeal today's ruling.
The court, of his own volition, has granted leave to appeal. Speaking for myself, obviously the decision is that of the client. So I will be advising the client, but it is for the client to make the final decision.
Majibu Kitsao for K24 TV.
Meanwhile, the hearing of an application seeking to lift conservatory orders allowing Kithure Kindiki to be sworn in as the deputy president will be heard today before the three-judge bench looking into Rigathi Gachagwa's impeachment case. However, a fresh bid to expand the bench to 5 judges has started as more petitions continue being lodged in the courts. Take a look. The legal showdown on the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is ongoing in the High Court before a 3-judge bench with legal teams of the petitioners and the respondents putting up a spirited fight. Gachagwa's lead counsel Paul Muite has threatened to appeal the rejection of a request to disqualify the bench from hearing and determining the case following its ruling that it was legally constituted.
Speaking for myself, obviously the decision is that of the client. So I will be advising the client, but it is for the client to make the final decision. But in fairness to me as counsel and other counsel on this bench, I will certainly be seeking to persuade my client to appeal.
A fresh push to expand the bench as more cases are being lodged has kicked off, in addition to having another bench empaneled.
My learned colleagues for the petition have been engaging in this dilatory tactic since yesterday. No. There are 2 applications before you that are certified as urgent. There are several other matters that have applications that perhaps have not been certified as urgent. Perhaps your lordships may be kind enough to deal with those urgent applications.
There have been no compliance with Mutunga rules for purposes of the respondent. So that if anybody was to be accused of any delay, it would be somebody who has not complied with the Mutunga rules.
We are being made orphans. The state is in the bedroom. Let us also be in the bedroom so that we can respond.
The respondents' legal team, including the Senate and the National Assembly, are however expressing concerns of delaying tactics being in play by Gachagwa's team in order to keep him in office for longer.
In a matter like this, the court must be very firm. It must run the council. The court itself must have very clear direction. Which is the application that will be heard, in what sequence, what are the time allocations, how the parties share those times.
We need a clear date where the court ensures everybody who ought to be before you, particularly based on these issues that has been raised courtesy of correspondence with the Chief Justice, is addressed. So that the second preliminary issues after the issue of the validity of the bench has been disposed of are the 3 pending. Are they 3? Actually, I know I'm about to. 3 applications for recusal. Those are preliminary issues, and they relate to the same consolidated matters that this court has given a ruling on.
We are in agreement that the next application in line can only be one, and it is the application for recusal of this bench. And that is the application which, after we do everything, tomorrow at 2:30 is up for hearing.
If conservatory orders are lifted, Kindiki will be sworn in as the deputy president, while if rejected, Rigathi Gachagua will remain in office until all the cases are heard and determined. Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi. Now, a new survey by research firm Infotrack has revealed that most Kenyans now consider Gen Zs as their heroes compared to the individuals honored on Sunday during the National Mashujaa Day celebrations. The survey indicates that the protests led by Gen Zs, which resulted in significant political changes, have contributed greatly to their recognition as national heroes.
Just days after the nation marked Mashujaa Day, where more than 140 individuals were honored as national heroes, a new Infotrack survey now shows that Kenyans regard Gen Z as their real heroes, followed closely by opposition leader Raila Odinga and President William Ruto.
We noticed the Gen Zs were regarded as emerging heroes by majority of Kenya, not by majority, but a significant number. 23% of Kenyans, by way of summary, recognized, because they were mentioned without attributing to a single Gen Z. They were collectively mentioned, followed by Right Honorable Raila Odinga, who scored 18% recognition as among the personalities that Kenyans perceive to be a hero. Coming third is Faith Kipyegon.
The Zuma generation has been praised for their bold stand in advocating for good governance, which led to a shake-up within President Ruto's government, where his entire cabinet was dissolved